We're usually living on this channel for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It's Wednesday. It's the easy day. It's the day that I come here, talk about alts, and I get to say the same thing for the most part. And that same thing is BTC is still the place to be. It is still in the early breakout, pre-breakout stages. Alts tend to do better after BTC breaks out. Alts do best when BTC is consolidating bullishly, let's say. In the past 6 months, BTC has consolidated bearishly. A few alts here and there have done well, but don't get it twisted. For the most part, alts haven't been the place to be. They just haven't. If you're tactically and opportunistically moving in and out of certain things, you've done okay. But easy mode is not until after BTC makes all-time highs. My eye on this chart sees a complex inverted head and shoulders, and we kind of see that across the board on the altcoin USD pairs for the most part. Anything that doesn't have a triple bottom or a completed triple bottom is just lagging everything else. So for me, it's a why bother. And even if they do have a triple bottom, which we'll take a look at plenty of them, they haven't necessarily outperformed BTC and don't look as though they will outperform BTC, at least in the near term. The two that have, SUI and Tau, looking awfully heavy against BTC. So we'll look at that as well. Is the breakout confirmed yet? That's an opinion. I mean, we're making higher highs. We're holding higher highs. The longer we can hold anything up here above 65, great. If we continue to push to 70, whatever, great. If we make a series of higher highs, great. You know, I wouldn't expect anything massive pre-election, but the markets are clearly getting excited on the Trump odds currently. It's interesting that despite Trump being favorable in the electoral college outcome, alts not moving off of that. BTC is moving off of that. At least that's my read anyway. So BTC looks good, but this is an altcoin video. Oh, just kidding. Dominance continues to dominate everything. What's the point? What's the point of trading in alts or focusing alts? From a trading perspective, if dominance doesn't support that view, dominance is still very clearly bullish. It's not going to lie to you when this rolls over, then alts should look better. But we're just not there yet. And total 2 BTC stripping out stables also very clearly says this is still bearish, has been bearish for quite some time, and does not look bullish. This looks awful. And inevitably somebody's going to tell me about total 3 or others or something else, but none of those really look great. Something else the altcoin people also point out is, you know, total 2, it looks great. It's looked great. It's bottoming. All that's true. But again, if you're not beating BTC, what's the point? So yes, total 2 has this inverted head and shoulders characteristic, as does ETH, as does Sol, as does so many other coins right now. So it's setting itself up for a decent rally within the next 3 months, I'd imagine. Hasn't broken out yet, hasn't confirmed yet, isn't above the daily cloud, isn't above the 200-day moving average. And that's, of course, what we saw the last time things took off. Even if we are above both, there's no promise that we're just not going to hold some range like we did in early 2023. But yeah, things are looking okay for alts. It's just they're not beating BTC. Stablecoins also falling off a little bit there in the circulating supply, most of that being USDC getting redeemed. Tether issuance also slowed pretty considerably, I think, over the past 2-3 weeks. So alts still look like a PvP type of game. If we go outside of crypto, if we go to legacy land, if we go to miners even, BTC miners look great. Tons of inverted head and shoulders on most of those charts. Most of those charts breaking up. Are they outperforming BTC? Not really. But this is ARK. ARK, for the first time in, 3 years? 3 years it's above the weekly cloud. I can hardly believe it. But if you're an altcoin enjoyer, you want to see this side of the risk spectrum moving higher or looking like it's going to move higher. That likely signals monetary easing or easy money or animal spirits, take your pick. I wouldn't say this is confirmed yet, but it does have a Kumo breakout, a bullish cloud, not a bullish TK cross, but it's looked the best it's looked on the cloud in a very, very long time. Of course, we'll take a quick peek at the watch index, which has held its low. It's up quite a bit. So that's also looking okay from a speculative money perspective. I just can't get past the bullishness of dominance and the bearishness of Alt BTC, the index. There's just, to me, not even a sense of bottoming here yet. And it's a process. It's going to take time. Before I go any further, let me mention today's video sponsor, Kraken Pro. Kraken Pro is a complete overhaul of the Kraken trading experience with a one-stop shop for advanced and professional traders. Kraken Pro enables efficient trading execution across multiple markets with a UI that allows for unique optimization tailored to your trading style. You can check out Kraken Pro with a link in the description of this video. Non-investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payrod Ventures Inc., PBI, DBA, Kraken. Kind of been watching one chart all day, and that's ETH BTC, just waiting for this to very likely continue to break down. Hopefully for most people, a lesson in not buying knives, not buying blood, waiting for confirmation. This arguably even looks like maybe a bear flag down here, some sort of not so happy thing. Yes, there's a falling wedge on this. There's probably a bull div as well on RSI, but does not look bullish here. It just doesn't, right? And this is kind of the story for a lot of alts right now. ETH even has an ETF and nobody wants it, flat out. So until that changes, I wouldn't expect this to necessarily look good. So sure, you can guess and you can say it's down X%. I think now's a good time. You could say this is an old support. I think now's a good time. Whatever. Like, I hear you. But what you're looking for here is some sort of double bottom, triple bottom, V bottom, huge wick rejection, something. And there's just nothing there at all. ETH USD, which is again where people just gravitate towards the more bullish side of this equation, USD being on the left, BTC pair on the right. ETH USD does have a fractal known as an inverted head and shoulders, 100%, as do many charts, as I've said. This looks like it wants to break up. 200 days at 3K, the cloud is at 2,800. I think this does better either later in Q4 or the beginning of 2025. I just don't feel like it's a now trade for me, especially considering how bearish ETH BTC still looks. Sol has been a choppy journey, but it's at least been above the cloud at this point versus ETH, which hasn't. It certainly also has that triple bottom characteristic. 162 is a key level, 180, 200, those are all key levels for Sol on the way up. Against BTC, you can't tell me that this is bullish. It's neutral at best, and it's in the high time frame cloud. Could be still a complex head and shoulders. Does not look like strength just yet against BTC. Where you do see strength is against ETH. Sol ETH is still consolidating basically at all-time highs. And you can say, well, is this a cup and handle? Is this an ascending triangle? Is this a rising wedge? I think for now, you just say, well, it's looks more bullish than Sol BTC, certainly looks more bullish than ETH BTC. So of the two, Sol ETH takes it until this starts to break down. That's the difference here. This is holding at all-time highs versus Sol ETH, which is trying to maybe roll over a little bit here. This could change trend-wise if it gets back above the cloud, but we're not there yet. BNB also has similar bottomy type chart pattern there. It's above the daily cloud. It's above the 200-day. It's at the neckline. It looks good. CZ's out of prison. I mean, what's not to love on BNB right now? BNB BTC, on the other hand, similar to Sol BTC, also kind of looking droopy, kind of looking double toppy, complex head and shoulders Z. Just, it's not at knocking at the door like it is here at resistance. It's kind of at support. So this could go nowhere. This could just flatline here, but it doesn't look like a resounding bullish chart to me. Even though, yes, it is above the cloud. On the high time frames, just looks like a whole lot of chop in the moment. Ripple hasn't done anything for quite some time, many years, just flat. High time frame, cloud, neutral, nothing really to speak of. Against BTC, it's back below the cloud again. So from my perspective, the trend is not on your side for longs on either one of these pairs at the moment. Doge maybe looks the best amongst the majors, as do the meme coins just in general. They're holding up better than a lot of this other stuff, and that could just be because that's where retail is right now. We'll take a look at a few other of these, but Doge USD has this, again, this like triple bottom scoop-de-whoop thingamajig that is trying to break out of the cloud, is trying to break the 200-day moving average. This probably takes the rest of the quarter to eventually break. But yeah, like it looks like a fine trade. And against BTC, it's not making new lows. It's trying to round the bottom here. Maybe we eventually see an Adam and Eve. Maybe we eventually see prices above the cloud. I don't know. That's something to watch, but it looks less bearish than a lot of other stuff against BTC. Ton USD also just kind of meandering here below the cloud. Maybe it has this diagonal IHS characteristic. I don't know. That doesn't really look like a trade to me here. Part of this is because while BTC and everything else was kind of sideways, Ton had a great move from March to July, and now it's time to pass the baton to anything else. And against BTC, it's just been range bound and pulled back pretty considerably there. ADA, USD. You could imagine a world in where this eventually plays out as making higher highs. It's probably a week or two too early to call it, but yeah, as long as it can make higher lows, it should be fine. Against BTC, it's a completely another different multiverse of realities, right? Now you can look at this and say, wow, this looks like it's bottomed against USD, but against BTC, it's one of the most aggressive downtrends you will see on any chart right now. And again, you could say, well, it's at the 2019, 2020, 2021, whatever lows. This has to be the bottom. This could be the bottom. I'm almost positively sure of it. But why? Just wait for the confirmation. Wait for anything else. Not financial advice, obviously, but it just doesn't really make any sense. If we dial it back a little bit and we look at BNB had a similar aggressive down channel against BTC. And after that broke, it still took months to bottom. So we're nowhere near that for ADA whatsoever. AVAX, similar bottoming process here at the cloud, at the 200-day. Something to watch for sure. Against the BTC pair, similar. Doesn't look breakout ready at the moment, but it's certainly something I'm watching here throughout the quarter to see, can this make a higher high? Can it hold a higher high? Can it break above the cloud? That sort of thing. So this one's definitely on the watch list for me. Here's SHIB, similar to DOGE. Against both USD and BTC, it looks compelling. We'll say that. You know, it's where you'd want it to be to start thinking about taking a trade on SHIB. And this is maybe part of the problem for, let's call them the legitimate layer ones, or the coins with an ecosystem that aren't just whatever this is. These just look better. They just do. The TA just looks better. And that's that. So similar to DOGE, SHIB could be ready here in the next couple weeks. Link, again, what is this, right? We can make things up and say there's a triangle here, there's something trying to bottom. Fine, but it looks like it's a month or two out. And against BTC, it's making new multi-month lows. You can say, right? We could say this is a falling wedge, this is a falling channel, blah, blah, blah. But none of that is like, yeah, this is breakout ready or bullish or looks good. It just isn't. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, next chart. You know, there's really nothing else to say. DOT, trying to bottom on the USD pair. This is near all-time lows, I think, for DOT. So it's kind of do or die for DOT at the moment on USD pairs. And against BTC, it is just a deep abyss, nosedive to further and further all-time lows. And looking at this, just this beauty of a pitchfork. I mean, when I teach pitchfork classes, this is going to be the pitchfork I pull up. You just really have to take it in because it's told you everything you need to know. This remains bearish until we are out of this channel. Full stop. That's it. Okay. Move on with your life. Expect lows. Thanks for playing. Now, over time, this could be one half of an eventual bottoming process, but it is way too early to call that. So that certainly looks very bearish. And it reminds me of my favorite chart, ZBTC, which is still also just in a multi-year downtrend. Still very bearish on that one. SUI pulled up quite a bit against both USD and BTC. Against USD, it's got a pretty wide TKC clamp here, signaling overbought plus lack of momentum. So that says be careful up here, certainly. Doesn't say it's going to zero. It doesn't say it needs to roll over completely, but it just says this has done very well very quickly and is unlikely to continue to do as well as quickly in the near term. The Kijun's, I think, at 155, so that would be a level to watch on the downside. SUI BTC also at a multi-month kind of all-time high-ish level against BTC where it pulled back from. So in the near term, realistically, I don't know how much more you can expect out of this one. LTC is at multi-year diagonal support, trying to get above the cloud, trying to retest the 200-day. Doesn't really look like much of anything, just chop really. And the monthly chart against BTC also just continuing to push towards all-time lows. So TA does not support a strong narrative here. We'll put it like that for LTC until this starts to round a corner. Now into November, December, maybe 2025, maybe we get more of a signal here for a rounding bottom or something, but I think it's a little too early on that one as well. Aptos had one of the better triple bottoms that I took a trade on. I'm out of that trade now. At 10, I let it go. Similar rationale to a lot of this stuff that's up super quickly. It just was getting pretty long in the tooth against the TK lines here. Had a growing bear div and also has a little rising wedge concern there. Against BTC, it also looks like it just needs some time. So trend is still bullish. It's just in the near term, I think it needs to chill out, to chillax a little bit. Back to a chart that looks good. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is another meme coin. Go figure. Meme coins, sure, why not? Look, I'm here to make money like most people. And it's hard to deny that these charts just look better than everything else right now. I'm not talking about page 7 on Dex Screener or whatever. I'm just talking about, we'll call them the majors of the meme coins. What I like about these is that they've pulled back significantly and flattened out over months. That is the key here. This isn't some 5-minute chart. This has taken months to play out. This could fail. This could reverse. This could be a bearish continuation. I don't know. We're not there yet on the confirmation, but on both of these charts, yeah, we can see a bottoming process. And if they get back above the cloud, sure, why not? Decent little trade there. This is also ETH beta. You've got Sol beta. So if ETH and Sol start to break out, these should do better. And that's also something to think about relative to BTC. So PEPE is another one that looks decent. Here's Tau. Again, it just looks so heavy against BTC. Breaking the Tenkin, probably reaching for the Kijun here. That's probably what, like 0.15 or something. Down here, it's probably like 450 on the USD pair. It just looks like we're hitting somebody's unlock level or target or emissions or something. Something's going on here. Maybe it's because NVIDIA rolling over a little bit, semis rolling over a little bit. I don't know. But the TA just doesn't really support bullish continuation up here at the moment. And if I had to pick, right, if I had to pick a chart to trade today, it would be the meme coin complex rather than anything else in altcoin land. Say also had a nice triple bottom, nice breakout. You really got to hope this doesn't double top up here on you. But it looks okay. It just chopping around. This could be a flag. Doesn't look great, but I don't have any issues with it up here currently. And against BTC, it's above the cloud, trying to hold on to some levels. Again, could be a double top. You got to watch out for that. But it looks okay. Not everything's going to look explosive on the breakout above the cloud, but the longer it can hold a more bullish stance on trend, the higher the likelihood that you see continuation. And then lastly, one that I had just sort of ready to go is ICP. It also on USD pairs just kind of floundering. And against BTC, it's made new multi-week lows at this point. So outside of the memes, not a lot to love here. Doge, still one of the strongest looking charts to me in the group. Sol and ETH have yet to break out. So you're waiting on those. And once those break out, my guess is memes still outperform them. So it's just tough to be a non-BTC layer 1 out here in these streets. That's all I got for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.